3, 2, 1. Another commentary! This is Djclyve, the RANMA 1/2 character profile guy, coming to you again with a little commentary on the Wonton Toristan Sarutoru profile, one of my favorite profiles. I really wish right now I could be working on something major. I had plans to, but unfortunately I came home from work really late today and I lost my time window. So this profile started out with a bunch of pictures of Lexi. I'm sure a lot of people are getting sick of her, but the way I look at it, she's become like a running gag in my profiles. Like, you never know where she's going to pop up next. Like a Where's Waldo type fashion. So you will continue to see Lexi in upcoming profiles. This profile is a very, very unique thing, how it turned out. I remember I wrote the script of this profile in a hospital waiting room, if you can believe that or not. I don't remember what I was there for, but nonetheless, I did it there, and I was just struggling with the hook. Like, every profile is supposed to have like a little gimmick, you know? At least it was at the time. Like, there was, you know, the one profile I did in the style of like a carnival barker, and one profile I did like a news broadcast. What the heck was going to be so special about this one to make it stand out from the rest? And when I finished the script, you know, it was the most basic, bare bones script you could think of. But what happened was the movie Tron came out, Tron Legacy, and that soundtrack by Daft Punk was enough to like make that movie into like folklore. I mean, that was like one of the most impressive soundtracks ever, and I decided, you know, I have to use this in one of my profiles, and I just cherry-picked the Wonton Toristan Sarutoru profile. I'm like, well, you know, I'm probably due to do this one next, so I'll just throw it in here and see how it works. And it overtook the entire profile. The whole profile has this weird cosmic matrixy look to it, and just the music in the background just made my humdrum script just all the more exciting, and I think it gave all the characters their own little flair. I tried to keep it, you know, I tried to add effects to go along with the cool Daft Punk sounding soundtrack, which led to a lot of matrixy stuff, a lot of like computer effects, and a lot of old arcade sound effects. Like, I surfed the net looking all over for different old 80s arcade cabinet sound effects for the windows when they come up. Here comes one right now. Yeah, when all the text comes on the screen, it's all like weird sound effects, like sound effects from Gorf and like Sinistar, all these old arcade games from my day. There's me with wonton soup. I actually bought that wonton soup just for the purposes of this video. I wasn't in the mood for wonton that day, and nonetheless, I got it. I go that extra mile to make these profiles. Now, Wonton is a very difficult character to put into words. I mean, I guess maybe he's not so much difficult to put into words as it is to elaborate on him, because there's so little going on with this guy. You know, he's just a dense, daft dog man with really little purpose in the movie. But somehow I was able to stretch his profile, or his section of the profile, up to like 2 minutes, and you'll see that I have to reuse a lot of this footage, and it was getting increasingly aggravating, because I was getting towards the end of my script, I'm still talking, and I've already used clips 3 times in a row. I can't use them again. I got that a lot with every character, except maybe Sarutoru. He had a lot of cool clips. But yeah, the song that I used in the background here was a song End of Line from Tron Legacy, and it's just the dance club scene from the movie, and it really, I don't know, it set Wonton apart from the rest of the crowd. It made him seem a little bit more funky, while the other characters, like Toristan, when he comes up, his music is very wild and crazy, while Sarutoru's is a little bit like creepy and methodical. So I tried to, use the music in the background to set the characters apart from each other. Now, Toristan, you might remember, he showed up on, actually very high on my list of top 10 Ranma 1/2 oddities. And he really is a kick-ass character, in my opinion. And they could have done so much more with him. That's the thing that stinks about the movies. They are way too short. Like, they could have added at least another 10, 20 minutes of exposition in about Wonton, Sarutoru, and Toristan. Just, to get into their characters a little bit more, because they really are intriguing. I think of the bunch, he definitely is my favorite, Toristan, because he's just got that really cool Vega look. He's got the feathers, and him and Moose are like the perfect natural foil to each other, and they just... One of the best fights in Ranma 1/2 history was that fight between Moose and Toristan. You can't deny just how great that moment was when he's impaling Moose and he keeps walking. I mean, I've had acupuncture before. I know what it's like to have needles in me. Just the thought of moving my body while there's a needle in me is just unnerving. Just to think that that thing's moving around in my flesh, maybe scraping up against my bones and ripping my muscle. But it just... The fact that I had to go through that in my lifetime just makes Moose all the more badass in my mind that he was able to do that. Yes, I know he's a fictional character, but still. You just look at that moment and you forget all that. You get sucked in. You get goosebumps. Just how passionate he is to bring this guy down. Yeah, this was an interesting recording session. Me screaming and hollering. I won't forget, I was suffering from laryngitis every other week trying to put this together. Like, I'd do like a couple lines and then I'd excuse me, like right here, I'd lose my voice and I have to wait a couple days and do it again. See, this is me, all these effects you see, this is me trying to make the most of the limited footage that I had of Toristan to make this interesting. And when I go back and watch it, I mean, notwithstanding the music and all the, the cool effects, it does get a little bit wordy, this section. I had a lot of ideas that I wanted to throw in, and I didn't edit any one of them out. I left them all in, and maybe I should have edited myself, because this portion of the profile goes on way too long now that I go back and look at it. Kill with death. I love that. That I actually stole. I heard a wrestling analyst named Brian Alvarez use that phrase. He killed his opponent with death, and I decided to use that. I steal from lots of things here and there. Oh no, Tobias, I forgot that he or she or it showed up in this profile. Pishtosh. And there's Tobias, his little cameo there. Sarutoru, the monkey man. This was actually I had like the ideas for this in my head like long before I even attempted this or his portion of the profile, because once I heard the song, the music was pretty much my basic motivating factor going into this. I'm like, I mean, this part of the script, the Shadowfall part, wasn't even in there. But I heard the song, I'm like, I have to do something with this. I don't know what, because it's so epic and so tense, this song. And I thought of Shadowfall, and I said to myself, this song reminds me of like a swirling tempest. Just a big black void of unknown that you're trying to escape from. And that must be what Ryoga was going through when he was in Shadowfall. We don't really see the conflict that's going on in his mind. But it must have been something like that, and I couldn't think of a more beautiful musical accompaniment than this one particular song. And I tried so many methods as far as making that part of the profile look good. The thing is, Pinnacle Studio is very limited in what it can do, and what it can do, it has a tendency to ruin. Like if your profiles get too complicated, if you use too many special effects, it will screw with you in some fashion. It'll either the sound will hiccup or the effect won't work, or as was the case in my Natsume Kurumi profile, you run the risk of erasing your whole project, which really sucks. But with Shadowfall, I decided to play it safe, and I downloaded it as its own separate movie, and I just re-recorded it when I was done with it. So there's a lot. Here it comes. There's a lot of effects that go into this, and unfortunately, Pinnacle Studio does screw with it, and there are a lot of audio hiccups during this part. More than I would actually care for. Most of my profiles that I'm really proud of have that problem, and that's unfortunate. Now the backwards talk that I used here, I actually did that through an iPhone app that lets you record your voice, and you can screw with it in a bunch of different ways. I use it a lot. Actually, I used it just recently to do my my evil RANMA profile, which as of yet I haven't released, and it's really killing me because I think that one came out really good, and I want to unleash it to the masses and see what they think of it. And here we are, our voyage through Shadowfall. So many different clips that I farmed from so many different episodes. This portion alone took me like a week to do, on and off, because if I had steady time behind the computer, I would have been able to polish it off. But since I only have like an hour at a time, sometimes it takes me a while. You'll notice the background, that swirling effect. Those are like multiple pictures of Ranma and Akane kissing. From the Ranma and Juliet episode. So many little things, little hiccups that I hid in there that maybe you wouldn't notice. But now we are reaching the end of the profile, where I bring it all to a head and try to explain why Piddlins was in the beginning of the profile. This was an interesting journey to me, to have something just come together full circle as you're working on it. Like, you start out thinking it's just going to be any other profile, and it turns out to be a 12-minute long epic. Like I said, I'm very proud of this one. I hate to toot my own horn, but I think this profile came out like superior to a lot of my other projects, which is amazing because they're for 3 such bit characters. And I would imagine there are a lot of people out there who skip this profile because they are such bit characters that they do not care for. And they see the time on it and like, 12 minutes. Do I really want to watch 12 minutes of Wonton, Sarutoru, and Toristan? No. So I would imagine a lot of people skip these profiles. A lot of my recent profiles too, because all I have left are bit characters. Which is a shame. I wish I had some major characters left to do, so I could do them justice. But I don't want to have to go back and redo all the the big characters I did, because I'm so close to the end right now, and I really have to stop this if I ever want to have a social life again. Now coming up, there's going to be an elaborate shot with the lightning flash. This was a really bad mocked up scene that I had to do through a program called Camtasia Studio, where I took 3 separate pictures of Wonton, Sarutoru, and Toristan. and I just blackened them out. I silhouetted them, and I put them against a like a gang graffiti background. But unfortunately, I don't own Photoshop, and I'm not good at stuff like that, so I really had to mock that scene up. I really wish I could have done that better, but to me it does the job. Yeah, I had to give KJ credit for this one because he lent me a lot of those filthy pictures of Ranma and Akane with the black bars during Shadowfall. So anyway, I really have little else to say about this one. It was a lot of fun, and you know, kind of cool to have something start out as like a seed and have it bloom into a flower, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, hopefully I'll be putting out some new stuff soon, and I'll, see you guys whenever. Later. Bye.